on, everybody, put your hand together. I want to hear you say Sunday morning. Sunday morning. Sunday morning.
Welcome to Sunday morning service. Today, we'll be featuring a sermon by Reverend Leo Daniels, Down in the Dumps with the Blues, and song selections from Daryl Lester, Tammy Edwards and the Edwards Sisters, and the Miami Mass Choir. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy Sunday morning service.
Come on, put your hand together.
Now the Bible says that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. And that's why I don't mind the storms, I don't even mind the rain, 'cause I know it won't last. It's not gonna rain always. I can go through the heartaches, I can even handle the pain. I know it won't, 'cause it won't last. I know for myself, look, the reason that I'm sure that I can endure is because it won't last. I don't mind going through some things. Look, I can take the disappointment, the sorrow and the grief. I know it won't, 'cause I know it won't last. Let me tell you this, sadness and misery, but I'll soon find relief, 'cause I know it won't last. It's gonna be all over after a while. Look, the reason I'm sure that I can endure is because it won't last. I have one more thing. I can go through being lied on by my so-called friends. I know it won't last. Let me tell you this, mistreated and betrayed by my very next of kin, but I know even that won't last. It'll all be over after a while. The reason I'm sure I can endure is because it won't last. See, I'm not looking at right now, I'm looking at the future. Look, all of these troubles and trials will soon be a thing of the past. And I know it won't last. So hear me when I say, go ahead and talk about me if you want to. It won't last. Go ahead, scandalize my name. It won't last. See, it used to bother me when folk would talk about me, when folk would lie on me, when folk would scandalize my name. But I picked up my Bible just the other day and I read where the same ones that walked and talked and ate with Jesus was the very same ones that denied him, the very same ones that betrayed him. Some of the ones that he healed, that he delivered, that he set free, those were the very same ones that lined the streets of Jerusalem and hollered, "Crucify this man." They beat him, they spat upon him, they whipped him. They didn't stop there, but they placed him up on an old rugged cross. They put nails in his hands, they put nails in his feet. They pierced him in the side. They placed a crown of thorns upon his head, but guess what? He never said a mumbling word, for he knew then that it wouldn't last. They didn't stop there, but they took his body down and placed it in an old borrowed tomb. And they thought that they had seen the last of Jesus, but 3 days later, he came up out of the grave.
Come on, somebody touch your neighbor and say, what God has for me, it is for me. The devil can't have what God has for me. Hallelujah. Listen. What God has for me, it is for me. What God has for me, it is for me. I know without a doubt that He will bring me out. What God has for me, it is for me. Can y'all help us sing that? Hallelujah. What God has for me, it is for me. See, the devil can't have my joy. He can't have my peace. What God has for me, it is for me. And I know beyond the shadow of a doubt, I know without a doubt that He will bring. Oh yes, He's gonna do. Hallelujah. What God has for me, it is for me. If you really believe it tonight, come on, why don't you help us sing? It is for me. It is for me. It is for me. What God has for me, it
You know it,
is
will
for
you?
me.
Come on, let's say it. I know
That He's gonna do it.
He will bring me out.
Yeah.
Can I say it again? Somebody's looking for healing. What God has for me, not just it is for me. Hallelujah. Oh, what God has for me, you can't take it. It is for me. Come on, let's say it together. I know. He will.
What God has for me.
Hallelujah.
What God has for me. The blessing He has in store for me. He's gonna give me the victory.
Somebody needs a new home. Do you believe you can get it? It is.
It is for me. Don't worry.
Somebody's looking for a way out.
Don't worry
Anybody
about
here know that
it.
he is the way? It is.
It is for me. I believe it. I receive it. It is. It is for me. Just wait on the Lord. Be of good courage. It is. It is for me. 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 It is for me.
I'm so glad for all of you. As I said, Mr. Bradshaw stayed in the National Football League for some 11 or 12 years or so, and he's practicing law here in Dallas. And you have any problem, you know where to go down there. So we thank God for all of my friends who come out. I tried to contact another friend of mine that I sang in the same gospel group with him. I'm trying to get him saved. He's a rock and roll star here. But I haven't been able to reach him yet, but young people know him as Johnny Taylor. But now in the 19th chapter, 1 Kings, the 4th verse, 1 Kings, the 19th chapter and the 4th verse, 4th and 5th verses. But he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness and came and sat down under a juniper tree. And he requested for himself that he might die, and said, "It is enough. Now, O Lord, take away my life, for I am not better than my father." And as he lay and slept under a juniper tree, behold, then an angel touched him and said unto him, "Arise and eat." On behalf of the young people, well as the adults tonight, I want to share this message with you. Down in the dumps with the blues. Down in the dumps with the blues. Now, this might sound a little bluesy to you, being a subject of a message, but as we go into the depths of the message tonight, we're going to find that everybody has had some good days and we have had some bad days. We have had some ups and then we have had some downs. We have had some trials and we have had some tribulations. What I'm really saying, everybody has been down in the dump. And we're going to find out that many times we had a case of the blues. But before dealing with that blues term, I better look at the term blues. No one can really give a direct definition for the blues, but we do know it has to do with a sad feeling. Now, the blues will be one thing to some folk and another thing to other folk. For example, to the drunkard, the blues is when he cannot get a bottle. To the dope addict, the blues is when he cannot get a fix. To the gambler, the blues is when his money runs out. To the liar, the blues is when he doesn't have anybody to lie to. To the cigarette smoker, the blues is when he has smoked up all of his cigarettes and can't get any more. Now, this just for the record's sake. I'm sure we don't have any of these here in Dallas, Texas, but to the snuff dipper, the blues is when he has dipped up all of his snuff and can't get any more. To the Christian, the blues is when he doesn't have a church home. To the preacher, the blues is when he doesn't have anywhere to preach. We all have had a case of it. But we all have had some good days, and then we have had some bad days. Now we have Elijah under consideration tonight. And I'd like to look at Elijah as we have read from the text. We would like to look at him, first of all, during his good days. During Elijah's good days, he carried heaven's key in his pocket for 3 years and 6 months. He lifted a dead boy to life one day. These were some good days.
That's right.
Not only that, but he had a great victory on Carmel. He had a quiet walk to the little station beyond the Jordan where the heavenly limit met him and took him home. These were some good days. But now we want to look at Elijah down in the dumps with the blues. Now, when you're down in the dump, it's really not anything hurting you. You just don't feel good. I've heard that term all my life, but down in the dump is just a lazy feeling. You know, you're not sick enough to go to the doctor, and you're not well enough to get up out of the bed. You're just drowsy. And we notice here Elijah, after Elijah's victory and success, we're going to find him down in the dump. Now, some people have said that Elijah was very pessimistic. He was a negative man, but not really intentionally so. For Elijah was a man who thought on the positive side. But sometimes when we mean well, we do our worst. One such woman who was very pessimistic and negative, they asked her how did she feel that particular day. And she said, I feel good today, but I always feel the worst when I feel the best, because I know how bad I'm going to feel when I get to feeling bad again. You know, a lot of people can feel good today, but they feel bad when they feel good, because they're thinking about how bad they might feel on tomorrow. That's looking on the wrong side of life. A man should always look to the bright side. I don't want to lose any of you, but I'm from the country, and I just told you that a few minutes ago, but we used to have to draw water. Now, some of y'all know what I'm talking about. You young people might not know too much about a bucket and a well, but it was once said that two buckets went to the well one day to get some water, and one of the buckets said, "It breaks my heart to think that however full we go away from the well, we always come back empty." And the other bucket laughed and said, "I was congratulating myself on the fact that however empty we come to the well, we always go back full." There are two sides to life. It behooves us as young people to look on both sides and always look to the brighter side. There was a man once who was convicted in the armed forces because he was a discourager. He was always looking at the bad side. Many times they would be sent out on missions and he would predict that nobody would get back. You know, a discourager can hinder progress. And this man was convicted because he was a discourager. He refused to see anything hopeful. And this kind of person is always dangerous to progress. We have a lot of people like that in the church. Now, first of all, here we look at Elijah, as we go back to Elijah, as being tired. We can imagine the days preceding the great test upon Carmel. These were some toilsome and restless days. Then came the great day of contest and victory. And I'm sure Elijah had to put forth a lot of preparation before the great contest. I can think about Mr. Bradshaw. I can think about before a big football game, before the Super Bowl. You have to put forth extra preparation. And most teams, when they get ready for a big game, they really work out hard. So I'm sure Elijah put forth some special preparation just before my come. So he had a lot of teaching, and therefore his nerves were on the edge. And after the victory, it is said that he ran before the chariot of Ahab from Carmel to Jezreel, which is a distance about 17 miles. So now if I'd run 2 blocks, I'm tired. And I can imagine Elijah running some 17 miles. He must have been sure enough tired. So we do have evidence here that he was a tired man. And you know, it's dangerous to make decisions when you're tired. It's dangerous to do anything when you are tired. So we notice here Jezebel's threat totally upset Elijah. When he got to Jezreel, he got a message from Jezebel threatening his life. And immediately he felt like he had been a failure in life. And you know, it's bad when you have won the victory and then you think you have lost. It's bad when you don't know when you won. It is said there were some soldiers at the end of World War II. When the war was over, it is said that there were some soldiers still fighting. Some even lost their lives after the war was over. They had not received the news that the war had ended. United States had won the war and they were still fighting. It's bad when you don't know you won. So Elijah here had already been victorious. He had won the battle. But he was down in the dumps and so upset until little Weasley Jezebel's threat upset his life. Isn't that right? And for the first time he gave away to fear. All of this tension drove him down the road to the juniper tree. He sat there down in the dump with the blues, we call it. You see, tiredness had a lot to do with this. It is hard for a man to be hopeful when his nerves are on the edge. He usually will take a case of the blues. And then there is something else that we need to notice. You see, a woman can send the blues up on a man quicker than anything. And if you notice the message tonight, Jezebel had something to do with the blues being sent upon Elijah. Now, if you want to catch a case of the blues right now, a woman can give them to you. First of all, a woman can leave you, and that will give you the blues. And many times she can come back, and that will give you the blues. Yes, sir. But another reason Elijah was down in the dump and had a bluesy mood was because the loss of his divine fellowship. Before this incident, every step that Elijah would make was ordered by the Lord. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. But Jezebel's threat made him feel that he ought to look out for himself. He took things in his own hand. And this always leads down the road to the juniper tree. Anytime you take things in your own hand. We look at how many church people today leave the church because they get angry with someone. Is that right? This is the reason we have so many lonely people. Because they have left the divine presence of God. Paul said, when difficulties come, be of good cheer. You see, when the blues hit you, you can't do nothing right. You can't look right. You can't walk right. You can't preach right. You can't talk right. You can't drive your car right. You can't do nothing right. Is that right? And Elijah here felt that he had been a total failure. I hear him say here, I'm no better than my fathers. They allowed Israel to drift into idolatry. Have you ever been like that? Have you ever felt that everything you seem to do is wrong? Have you ever felt like that? Some folk work and nobody brags on them. Seems like the more you work, the less appreciation people show. Have you ever been like this? Sometimes it feels like, it seems like you are doing all the work and somebody else is getting all the credit. If you're not careful, it will send you all the way down in the dump. And many times if you don't watch out, you feel like giving up in life. Is that right? I've seen so many young folk. We had a young girl not too long ago in our church because she was down in the dump. She attempted to commit suicide, a teenager. Said she felt like she was the black sheep in the family. Paul said, be of good cheer when difficulties come. But now there's a cure to being down in the dump. Now Elijah felt so useless he wanted to die. But I don't really believe he really meant that, because if he really wanted to die, Jezebel could have taken care of that. But you know, a man is in a bad fix when he wants to die. When a man wants to give up everything in life and just die, he's in a bad fix. Because that's one thing you don't have to worry about dying. You're going to do that. The Lord knows when. It's bad, as I said, to make important decisions when you are in the blue. You said things many times you don't mean. Some of the worst mistakes I made was when I was tired.
All right.
Or some of the worst decisions I made was when I was tired. But we notice here, God cured Elijah by letting him sleep. So rest must have been the answer. And I'm here tonight to tell you the answer to many of our problems is rest. The reason some young person is about to commit a crime out in the streets now, he needs resting from something. The reason somebody tonight cannot support the church the way the Lord would have yet, we need a rest. Elijah never let get back to normal until the Lord caused a deep sleep upon him. And when he woke up, everything was all right. Some people need to rest from idleness. You see, you can rest from doing something, and then you can rest from doing nothing. Isn't that right? Somebody needs to rest from alcohol. Wish they had a witness here tonight. Somebody needs to rest from dope. But excuse me right along here. Somebody needs to rest from lying. You know, I said in one message, some folk lie just to be lying. You know, people have always lied. But the old folk wouldn't just tell a downright lie on you. They had to have a good reason. But you know, people now will lie on you even if they don't know you. It just thrills some folk to lie. Some folk go to bed lying. Wake up in the morning lying. Go on their jobs lying. But I'm here to tell you we need to take a rest. Why not do I have a witness here? Sometimes, brother preachers, I've gone to the church. I've been tired and broken down. My father has always told me every so often you need to get away and rest. Jesus believed in getting away. God made the whole world and he took a rest. Isn't that right? Sometimes I felt like the sermons that I preached seemed like anything wasn't doing any good. Time I felt like all I was doing was just useless time. But the Lord speaks to me tonight. All you need to do is just rest. And when you have a rested mind, your whole outlook is different. Wish they had a witness. We're living in a tired world. And we just need to rest. Had a good friend of mine was about to walk off and leave his church. Came to the understanding all he needed was a rest. And sometimes the reason church is not enjoyable to us is because of what happened the night before. You know, it's hard to preach to a person that has stayed up all night Saturday night. It's hard for a sleepy person to understand that Jesus is the King of Kings. Understand that? Go ahead, sir. It's hard for a person with a hangover to understand that the Lord will open up windows and pour you out blessings. I understand that. But I've come tonight, young folk, to tell you that there is a way out.
All right.
It doesn't matter tonight what your life is. There is a way out. And it doesn't matter what kind of family background you have. Just remember that you are somebody. Everything and everybody that the Lord made, He put some good in it. Isn't that right? And don't feel left out. Doesn't matter what color your skin is. Doesn't matter who you are. You have a place in life.
All right.
Don't give up. And don't let anybody fool you because you are somebody. And I'm going to have to move on here to close tonight. But I'm reminded of an old lady who had only one child. This old lady was a very poor lady. And she had one little girl. And it was the little girl's desire when she would grow up to go off to college. But all through life, her mother told her, I don't see how you're going to do it. But by the help of the Lord, if you have determination, the Lord will fix it so you can be somebody in life. And one morning early, the little girl got up and said, Mama, you know, in just a few weeks now, I will be graduating from high school.
All right.
And the mother said, I read about a college that you can work your way through because you know we don't have any money.
All right.
And when she had graduated, the little girl got up that morning
Yes,
and
sir.
started packing her clothes. Didn't even have a suitcase. But she had an old white bag that she put her 2 or 3 little pieces in. And went on down to the bus station. And went on off to college. And the little girl was not able to come back home during holiday break.
All right.
Because she had to stay on the campus and work. And it got mighty hard down there because other girls and boys would have visitations from their parents and friends. But day by day, this little girl never did receive any mail. Didn't even have a visitor. And one night the little girl came in and decided to write her mother a letter. And she picked up the pen and began to write. Said, Dear Mama, I feel like I'm nobody. I feel like giving up. I feel so useless. The teachers are always bragging on other girls and boys.
All right.
But nobody ever bragged on me. And her mother was very depressed when she got the letter. And realizing the next day was the little girl's birthday.
All right.
And the old lady had saved some emergency money. And the next morning early, she got up and said, I'm going to see about my child. Oh, yeah. And
Come on now.
she put on a head rag and went on down to the bus station. And she walked on the college campus that day and saw a little girl sitting there in the chair. And And the little girl ran and embraced her mother and said, Mama, I didn't mean for you to strain up and come down here. And she said, well, you know you're my child and my only child. And it disturbed me when I read about you feel like giving up. It broke my heart to hear my child say that she feels like that she is nobody. So did you not know the day is your birthday? And I brought you a gift here. And the little girl was so happy, tears began to run all down her eyes. And her mother ran her hand in a pocketbook and came out with a little brown bag. She came out with a little brown bag. And said, I have in this bag a birthday gift for you. And the little girl was so nervous, she couldn't hardly open the bag. All right. And other girls were standing around waiting to see what she had for her birthday. Oh, yeah. She ran her hand down in the bag, but she was too weak to pick it up. And everybody was just standing there. And then she ran her hand back down in the bag and still couldn't come out with the gift. Oh, yeah. And then finally she came out, and guess what she had in her hand? She had nothing but an onion in her hand. And the girls around her started laughing. Said, your mama brought you an onion down here and said, this is your birthday gift. And she looked up at her mama and said, Mama, why would you embarrass me so and bring in a useless onion? And the old lady said, well, sit down a while, all of you college students. Said, I've never been to school a day in my life, but I want to teach all of y'all a class. Said, I've noticed you said that you feel like that you're nobody. Said, I brought this onion here to give you a lesson on. Said, I've heard of poems being written about flowers. And I've heard of poems being written about trees and birds that fly in the sky. But I've never heard of nobody writing a poem about an onion. I've seen brides walk down the floor with a bouquet of flowers. But I've never seen no bride walk down the floor with a bouquet of onions. So, but let's look at the onion. You still have to have the onion. Nobody ever brags on the onion, but it's the most important vegetable in the whole vegetable world. If you really want to season your food, you have to call on the onion. Oh, yeah. If you even get ready for a hamburger, you have to knock on the onion's door. Is that right? And if you get ready to make some of your precious soup, you have to call on your onion. And yet I've never seen an onion cry, but it made many people cry. Is that right? The onion is strong. And nobody has to go around bragging on the onion. The onion plays its own part and stands its own ground. And from now on, when you start feeling sad and low and feel like that nobody wants you, I want you to be strong and realize you can demand respect. Is that right? Just go on and get an education and have God on your side. And one of these old days, the world will have to call on you. Is that right? And it doesn't matter what you be in life, there's room for you. Somebody said, well, the world is full of technicians. But I'm talking about at the top. At the top, there's room for everybody. Is that right? Let me close here tonight by telling you it's all right to get your education, because we all need an education. Is that right? It's all right to go to Baylor University. It's all right to go to SMU. It's all right to go to Bishop College and go to TSU and University of Houston. It's all right to go to University of Chicago. That's all right. You need that education. But let me tell you one thing. When you get your degree, remember that there is another degree. Is that right? And you have to get it from the school of the Lord. I'm talking about Heaven's University. Is that right? It's all right to get your PhD. Yes, sir. But you need a BA. Born again. Is that right? Yes, my Lord. And as I close it tonight, I'm a recruiting officer for Heaven University. Is that right? It might be some young person here that you might feel down in the dumps, but you ought to enroll tonight in Heaven University. Is that right? It's all right to take history 131. It's all right to take English 231. It's all right to take literature 331. It's all right to take psychology 431. But you better enroll in some of God's courses. Is that right? And all of God's courses are numbered the same thing. Repentance 111. Love 111. Joy 111. Holy Ghost 111. Sanctification 111. Justification 111. Glorification 111. Peace 111. Somebody said, well, Mr. School Teacher, why all the courses name the same thing? One for the Father, one for the Son, one for the Holy Ghost. Oh, yeah. They all make one. Oh, isn't that right? If you are down tonight, the Lord is calling your name. Yeah, He has a scholarship for you. Isn't that right? He's already paid your tuition fee. Yeah, God so loved the world, He gave His only begotten Son. Isn't that right? Jesus went to the cross. They nailed in His hands. Isn't that right? They nailed in His feet to it. Oh, yeah. They laid Him in the grave. Yeah. He died. He died. He died. He died. He
hope you have enjoyed this week's edition of Sunday Morning Service. Be sure to subscribe to Malaco Gospel so you'll be notified when new programming is available. Again, thank you for participating in Sunday Morning Service.
Tell somebody it's just temporary. Tell them it's not gonna last. Oh, anybody believe that? Look at them and tell them it's not gonna last. It's got to pass. I don't care what it is. It's going to pass. Somebody high five your neighbor and tell them it's got to go. It's got to go. Sisters, y'all walk up here with me. Point to somebody and tell them it's
only temporary.
Woo! Yeah.
Things won't be the same
Because
God loves you and understands.
so just believe
in His hands.
somehow.
Have counted you out.
Anybody been counted out?
Just believe without a doubt
But tell the devil that
God has the last say.
your victory. Yeah. One more time, tell them
It's only temporary.
what you're dealing with
Things won't be the same.
because
Loves you and understands.
so just believe
You're in His hands.
somehow
Have counted you out.
they counted me out.
Just believe
Yes, they did.
without a doubt
But I tell the devil that
God has the last say.
he has the last say.
Victory
Yeah.
on the way.
Yo, let's cut it short. Glory to God. Let me tell you something. Anytime the problem or the situation intensifies, that lets you know God's getting ready to break something. Anybody feel a break in a day? Do anybody feel a break in a day? Sisters, point to somebody. Tonette, Tina, Tanya, and Talia. Point to somebody out there. I don't care if they're smiling, that don't mean nothing. Point to them, tell them it's only
It's only a temporary state. Things are going to turn around. Don't you get bent out of shape. Hold on to what you got.
anybody gonna hold on to what you got?
Hold on.
It might not be much, but tie a knot and hang on anyway.
Only a temporary state. Things are going to turn around. Don't you get bent out of shape. Hold on to what you got.
Come on, let's make the devil mad. Anybody wanna make him mad? Tell them to hold on.
Only a temporary state. Things are going to turn around. Don't you get bent out of shape.
Yes.
Hold on.
Tell somebody.
Hold on.
Tell your neighbor.
Hold on.
Tell your friend.
Hold on.
It's not gonna last.
Hold on.
It's getting ready to pass.
Hold on.
The race is not given
Hold on.
to the swift or
Hold on.
just keep holding on.
Hold on.
Don't you stop.
Hold on.
Don't you quit.
Hold on.
Just keep holding